Hi everyone, sorry I couldn't be here today. I'm going to go through the William Allen White books for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade with you today. I want you to be aware of the books that will be in the Battle of the Books, as well as just showing you some great books if you would like to read some of the options and be able to vote in April. Remember, you have to read at least 2 William Allen White books if you would like to vote for your favorite in April. Last year's winners were Gordon Corman for The Fort and Catherine Applegate for Otter. Okay, just a reminder, the list is split up into 3rd through 5th grade list. And these, I'm just going to page through these books real quick that we've already talked about from the 3rd through 5th grade list. And then there are more books on the 6th through 8th grade list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about some of them with you, and then for some of them, I will show you the book trailers. If you would like to check these out today, you can. They are displayed in our William Allen White display all year long. We will be getting more copies of each title when Battle of the Books comes around, but if you want to get an early start and check those out, feel free to take them from the display. If they're not available, just leave me a little note on a sticky note and I'll put them on hold for you. So here we go. Okay, the first book on the list that I'm very excited about, I honestly think this one has a good chance of winning the award this year for 6th through 8th grade. It's called The Cursed Moon by Angela Cervantes, and this is a scary book. It's in our horror and suspense section. The really cool thing about this book is the author is related to some kids in our school. All of the farmer kids, this is one of their cousins. And so she lives in the Kansas City area, I believe. She does do school visits, so we're hoping we can get her to come visit us. Like I said, I think this book has a really good shot at winning. It's so good. There's so much action. It is a little bit scary. I didn't have nightmares, but it did keep me guessing the whole time. So The Cursed Moon is really great. Let's take a look at the book trailer.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela Cervantes, author of The Cursed Moon, and today I'm going to be showing you the book trailer for The Cursed Moon. And one of the very special things about this book trailer is not just the spooky music, but also that there's lots of artwork in the video. And the artwork was created by the amazing artist Melissa Castillo, who is also the artist behind the cover for The Cursed Moon. And I really like the cover for The Cursed Moon. As an author, sometimes we don't really get the chance to give much input into book covers, but in this case I did, and I feel very grateful for that. And Melissa, I think, just hit it out of the park. I mean, I like the creepy little caretaker. I like that she was able to include Raphael, his sister Brianna, and even the little cat Balam in there. And I like that they're kind of in action, racing through the park to get away from the caretaker. So I have nothing but love for this artist, Melissa Castillo, and I hope that you enjoy the book trailer, and I'll see you when it's done. So without further ado, here's the book trailer for The Cursed Moon, and I hope that you like it.
Okay, this next book by Sarah Everett is called The Probability of Everything. At first, I thought this was going to be like a sci-fi book because in this book, the main character is talking about this asteroid that's coming to Earth and it's going to destroy everything. So basically, they only have a few days to live, everybody on Earth, because this asteroid is coming. And so I kind of categorized it as science fiction at first, but I really think it goes more with realistic fiction. There is a huge plot twist at the end. In this book, the main character loves probability. She enjoys talking about math, solving problems, solving puzzles, with her father especially. It also has a little bit of issues with racism. The main character's family lives in a neighborhood that's mostly all white, and her family is African American. And it is in present day, but they're not treated equally, and some people want them to leave. And so this leads to a very tragic thing happening in the book. Again, like I told you, there's a huge twist. This was such a great book, but I will warn you, it made me cry. I honestly had to stop at one point and put it down because I had tears running out of my eyes. So try this book out. It's excellent. Okay, this next one we will watch the book trailer for. It's called The Super Teacher Project, another great book by Gordon Korman. This next book is called Good Different by Meg Eden Kuyat. It is definitely a little bit different because it's a novel in verse, and I know a lot of you like those. I'm just going to let the author talk a little bit about the book and why she decided to write it and why the main character is so special to her.
Hi, my name is Meg Eden Kuyat, and I'm the author of the middle grade novel in verse, Good Different. Good Different follows Selah, a neurodivergent girl who feels like a dragon stuck in a world of humans. She knows how to hide it, until the day she explodes and hits a fellow student. As her familiar world begins to crumble, Selah writes poems to stand up for her needs. But will her school hear her voice before it's too late? Like Selah, I'm autistic. I didn't know it until one day I blew up, and it became clear I couldn't keep up with the normal around me. And I'm not alone. There are many Selahs out in your classrooms and communities. At least 1 in 5 kids are neurodivergent. Many are undiagnosed and may be able to mask well. Like Selah, they may be holding in their struggles. Writing this story has empowered me to see that while I have unique challenges and struggles, I have so many ways I can fly. I hope that you'll pick up Good Different, and whether you're neurotypical or neurodivergent, you'll see part of yourself in Selah's story.
Okay, this next book is called Farther Than the Moon. It's by Lindsay Lackey, and it is a book about a kid who really, really wants to get to space.
All 13-year-old Houston Stewart has ever wanted is to become an astronaut. His dreams feel like they're finally coming true when he's accepted to the highly competitive Junior Astronaut Recruitment Program. If only he could bring his little brother Robbie with him. Ever since their dad left, Houston and Robbie have been inseparable. It's hard to tell where Houston's love of space ends and where Robbie's begins. But Robbie's cerebral palsy and epilepsy means he needs medical attention at home, so Houston must take this giant leap for the two of them all on his own. At camp, Houston is quickly drawn into the orbit of new friends, cosmic adventures, and a long-lost grandfather. But as Houston struggles to meet the program's rigorous demands, he's forced to reckon with the truth that Robbie may never be able to visit space like the brothers have always hoped. But Houston is determined to honor Robbie's dream, even if it seems like an impossible mission. So, like a good astronaut, he dares to make a new plan, one that shoots for the stars.
This next book, A Work in Progress by Jarrett Lerner, was probably one of my favorites on the list. It is a novel in verse. I'm going to show you here some of the pictures from inside the book. If you haven't seen what it looks like, it kind of looks like a notebook when you open it. There's lots of illustrations and drawings. This one was a tough one to read because the character in the story is bullied relentlessly. He doesn't feel good about himself. And I think it's just an issue that sometimes we don't think about a lot, especially with boys. And so this gives a story from that perspective. So hopefully people will read this book and make better choices about how we treat each other. Let's take a look at the book trailer.
Will is the only round kid in a school full of thin ones. So he hides in baggy jeans and oversized hoodies, in the back row during class, and anywhere but the cafeteria during lunch. But shame isn't the only feeling that dominates Will's life. He's also got a crush on a girl named Jules, who he knows he doesn't have a chance with because of his size. But he can't help wondering, what if? Will's best shot at attracting Jules' attention is by slaying the Will monster inside him and changing his eating habits and getting more exercise. But the results are either frustratingly slow or infuriatingly unsuccessful. Will's shame begins to morph into self-loathing as he resorts to increasingly drastic measures to transform his appearance. And then Will meets Marcus, who may just be the friend he needs to change his life.
Okay, this next book was so fun. It's by Pedro Martin. It's called Mexikid. It is a graphic novel. It's actually a memoir. So it's a true story about the author's adventures with his family. It's super funny. I listened to the audiobook, but then I had to go back and actually read it because I missed the illustrations in the audiobook. So let's take a look at the book trailer.
When I was a kid, my family took a road trip to visit my grandfather in Mexico. Wait, let me clarify that. When I was a kid, all 11 of my family members crammed into one RV to go to Mexico to bring my super intense grandfather to come live with us in America. I just wanted to stay home and watch TV. Instead, I got 4,000 miles of boredom, bananas, bad haircuts, mercados, Mexican soda, first crushes, stomach trouble, bananas. Why did my mom bring so many bananas? Fights, food, and family. And it was the best trip ever. Hit the road with us in Mexikid, a new graphic memoir by Pedro Martin.
This next book is a nonfiction book called Superpod, Saving the Endangered Orcas of the Pacific Northwest by Nora Nickum. We are not going to watch the book trailer on this. There isn't really a book trailer. I found the author on a news program, and it was great, but it's a little bit long, so we're not going to watch it. But this is just the story of the endangered orcas and how this one scientist, a marine biologist, is helping to save them and working with them. So if you like that kind of thing, this is called Superpod. All right, this next one is called Lasagna Means I Love You by Kate O'Shaughnessy. It is realistic fiction, and let's take a look at the book trailer.
Nan was all the family that Mo ever needed, but suddenly she's gone, and Mo finds herself in foster care after her uncle decides she's not worth sticking around for. Nan left her a notebook and advised her to get a hobby like ferret racing or palm reading. But how could a hobby fix everything in her newly topsy-turvy life? Then, Mo finds a handmade cookbook filled with someone else's family recipes. Even though Nan's never cooked, Mo can't tear her eyes away. Not so much from the recipes, but from the stories attached to them. Though, when she makes herself a pot of soup, it is every bit as comforting as the recipe notes said. Soon, Mo finds herself asking everyone she meets for their family recipes, teaching herself to make them and collecting the stories behind them while building a website to share them. And, secretly hoping that a long-lost relative will find her and give her a family recipe all of her own. But when everything starts to unravel again, Mo realizes that if she wants a family recipe or a real family, she's going to have to make it all up herself.
The next book on the list is called The Fire, the Water, and Maudie McGinn. And we will watch the book trailer, but this one I just started. I'm listening to the audiobook and I'm loving it right now. Maudie is autistic. She lives with her mom and her stepdad. And to be honest, her mom is not great with her. Her mom is more worried about her new husband, making him happy. And the new husband isn't that nice to Maudie either. Maudie has a big secret, in fact, that she really wants to tell her dad, but she's not sure if she can get up the courage. She goes to stay with her dad in California every summer, but this year there are wildfires, and so they have to get out of the cabin. They have to evacuate and end up in a campground near the ocean. So let's watch the book trailer. This next one is also one of my favorites. It's a quicker read. It's What Happened to Rachel Riley by Claire Swinarski. It is a mystery, and let's take a look at the trailer.
If you like realistic middle school stories, like Dress Coded, or Maybe He Just Likes You, then you should read What Happened to Rachel Riley by Claire Swinarski. Anna Hunt may be the new girl at East Middle School, but she can already tell there's something off about her 8th grade class. Rachel Riley, who just last year was one of the most popular girls in school, has become a social outcast. But no one, including Rachel Riley herself, will tell Anna why. As a die-hard podcast enthusiast, Anna knows there's always more to the story than meets the eye. So she decides to put her fact-seeking skills to the test and create her own podcast around the question that won't stop running through her head. What happened to Rachel Riley? With the entire 8th grade working against her, Anna dives headfirst into the evidence. Clue after clue, the mystery widens, painting an even more complex story than Anna could have anticipated. But there's one thing she's certain of. If you're going to ask a complicated question, you better be prepared for the fallout that may come with the answer. I like that this book feels true to life and is told from multiple perspectives. So you see different sides of the story as the story unfolds. Your first assumptions about people might be wrong as you learn through the texts, emails, and interviews that are sprinkled throughout the book. So if you're interested in untangling a middle school social mystery, read What Happened to Rachel Riley.
The next book is called Enemies in the Orchard by Dana Vangerloot, and it is based on a true story. It is also a novel in verse, which I know a lot of you love. This was an excellent book, historical fiction also, and it is during World War II. Danny is fighting overseas and Claire is at home. She works in her family's orchard, and her father is taking advantage of a new program that loans German prisoners of war to farms as labor. I didn't even know that there were POW camps in America during World War II. So this kind of talks about the tensions and the struggles that come with growing up. a little bit about prejudices, about finding your voice, and it has a lot of that history involved in it too. So this is an excellent book, Enemies in the Orchard. All right, and this next book is called Jawbreaker by Christina Wyman. Let's watch the book trailer.
Max Planck's life just got a lot more complicated. Trouble at home? Check. With money tight, her parents haven't been getting along lately. School bullies? Double check. Especially if you count her sister, who is the worst bully of them all. And dental drama? Oh, you have no idea. With a mismatched puzzle of a jaw, Max has a severe overbite. She already has braces, which means she lives on Advil and soft foods after each orthodontist appointment. But now, Max has to wear a totally awkward orthodontic headgear nicknamed the Jawbreaker. Could things get any worse for her? Yes, they could. The journalism competition Max wants to enter has a video component, but being on camera means showing her face not just to her junior high classmates, but possibly to the whole city. Going viral is the last thing Max needs, but winning this competition is what she wants most. It turns out that even following her dreams is too complicated for Max's life.
Hopefully you found some of those books entertaining and want to check them out and read them. If you have any questions, or again, if you want to put any of these on hold, just leave me a sticky note and I'll get back in touch with you next week. Hope you have a great day and find some great books today. We'll see you next week.